Hi, everyone. Thanks for tuning in again. I'm here with Marc Rosenberg. Marc joined the Terrapin Americas conference shortly after his retirement as Air Canada's vice president, sales and distribution in the fall of 2008. He has served as a speaker, moderator, and chairman in the last several years, and is one of our longest standing advisory board members. So I'm excited to have him on. I know Marc has been a huge mentor for me as I've been brought into this industry this past year. In addition to the distribution conference circuit, Marc's consultancy practice, Strata Connects, has worked with over 20 airlines worldwide, primarily on their GDS strategy and contract negotiations and channel and sales management reviews. Marc has also delivered over 25 IATA training sessions and his own Airline 101 course, which he has given to me personally and definitely jump-started my knowledge in the aviation industry. So I'm very, very thankful to have you here, Marc. Thank you so much. Let's just talk distribution. We'll jump right into it. It's certainly been a very active file of late. When did distribution take a life of its own for airlines and the GDS vendors?
Thanks for having me on board, Kayla. You've got to roll the tape back to the late 90s when the LCCs launched, and their motto basically did a bypass of the GDS, gave them a huge upside on cost, on credit card bookings only, overnight data reporting, and increased revenues by upselling. So the legacy airlines wanted the same. They wanted the ability to match them. And of course, when they approached the GDS vendors, that's where it all fell apart. The contracts didn't allow for it. The vendors were reluctant. And it really wasn't until IATA in 2010, 2012 started what is now known as the NDC. And it's only of late that the NDC has made breakthroughs. So this has been going on for a long time.
Yeah, and what were the most significant challenges facing the stakeholders when this all started, and now?
Well, from the airline point of view, they basically had handcuffs. These contracts that they had with the vendors really didn't allow them to go outside of GDS distribution like the LCCs had. And so when they attempted to change the contracts, they faced things like parity. Parity is a dirty word in the eyes of the airlines and one that the GDSs have used effectively. That's all changed. However, for the longest time, that was a challenge. From the vendor's point of view, um, they really couldn't afford to allow the airlines to move away from them, A, financial disaster, and B, they needed time for their technology investment, which had to be significant in order
Mhm.
to come up to what we now know as the NDC alternative.
Sure. So, do you think that's what's changed the most to allow for more customized GDS agreements as of late, or what, in your opinion, has allowed for that?
Well, certainly the GDS is now participating in the technology that we call NDC,
Mhm.
has allowed them to still have a stake in the business. However, it's going to take a lot of airlines a lot of time to get on board. The big ones have taken advantage of their NDC investment. They've taken the vendors to the wall in terms of negotiating new contracts. And what we're seeing out there in the last year is phenomenal. So many different models, all led by the largest airlines in the world.
Yeah, well, why would airlines engage a distribution GDS consultant like yourself to help them with this?
Well, it probably would surprise you to learn that even amongst the largest of the global airlines, GDS consultants are definitely a part of the team. There's a level of complexity in the commercial language that's used in these contracts. There's also a negotiating strategy because you're basically negotiating with three vendors at the same time. So
Mhm.
when the contracts are normally a period of 3 years, the individuals in the airlines don't have the experience to continue understanding what the new contracts look like, what the vendors are doing from a negotiating point of view. And all of that is an expertise that only the consultants can provide. And again, like
Mhm.
I said, the largest airlines are really engaged.
Yeah, certainly I understand, how this is affordable for the world's largest airlines, American Delta, but is it affordable for some of those mid to smaller carriers as well? That's who we see a lot of at our conference, especially in the Latin
Yeah.
American space.
Yeah, it can be affordable. This is the
Mhm.
area that I've personally specialized in. And the analogy I use with the airlines is, you can buy a 787 to fly your network, but for many airlines, an Airbus 220 or a Q400 prop can do the mission at substantially less cost. So
Yeah.
my particular practice focuses on reduced costs, not engaging extensive research data, but focusing on the contracts and having the staff participate. The
Mhm.
larger consultancies have a tremendous amount of expertise that's very valuable. And if it's affordable, definitely the route to go. But the 20 airlines I've worked with, a couple of them I've done maybe three or four generations of contracts.
Mhm.
And some of them have now matured where they're using the bigger ones because they have a strong foothold, they've grown, they understand distribution, and they're surging ahead.
Really, right. So there's ways to implement these strategies through consultancies kind of at any budget to then build yourself up to these bigger names, essentially.
Yeah, as an airline matures and grows and want to take some of the aggressive steps that the Qatars and Lufthansas and
Mhm.
Qantases of the world have done, definitely these larger consulting firms do. In fact, I've worked with a couple of them on different projects. But
Mhm.
again, for a lot of airlines, don't be afraid of the cost of a 787 when you only really need a Q400. And I'm that
Sure.
Q400 guy.
Gotcha. Now, you've participated in Aviation Festival Americas for over 12 years now. So I would love to know what you would say to a potential airline attendee as a reason to attend.
Well, the first thing that comes to mind is
Mm.
networking, and networking. It's an
Yeah.
incredible opportunity to meet industry stakeholders of consequence. And I have met many individuals. I've met people with new ideas, fresh ideas. I've met individuals that I've known from the past who have new roles. It's
Mm.
a phenomenal networking opportunity. And the way it's organized, it allows the time and the opportunity to meet people. And that's
Mm.
really the first thing. The second thing I think is really important is learning, and more learning. So when you look at the lineup of speakers, um, if you participate and listen to these speakers, they will share with you the latest and most relevant insight into industry trends. So you combine the two, meeting people, learning
Mhm.
from people, it makes for a very valuable investment of your time. And based in Miami, South Florida, it's a perfect location for all carriers of the Americas to come down to.
Yeah, absolutely, and nothing wrong with Miami Beach as well as a beautiful venue, if I do say so myself. Well, Mark, again, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me. I'm excited to see you May 16th and 17th at the Miami Beach Convention Center for our 2023 edition, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your holidays as we're recording this back in December now, and, it's good seeing you.
Thank you. And to everyone in the audience, if you're at all interested, I'm planning on doing a roundtable at the festival on GDS and consultancies. Why do you need them in a lot more detail? So if you're interested, sign up. It'll be up on the agenda when it comes out. Thank
Absolutely.
you. Happy
Thanks so
holidays.
much, Mark. Happy holidays.